There's been so much happened in MMA this last week or two, I don't even know where to start. Actually, I'll tell you where I'll start. Gymshark. You see, on the 18th of November, it's Black Friday, and we all know what that means. It means everyone raids Gymshark's website because they go mad for Black Friday. They do great deals, up to 70% off on some items, so you're going to get them much cheaper. You know, I'm always in Gymshark. This is a lovely item from their power range, which they have me modeling. Some people said that the sales went through the roof just because of that. Who knows? To be fair, if you are going to buy, could you use my link? It's in the description. 18th, that's Thursday. So if you do buy from the website, use my link. Let's do a little bit of browsing before we start the video. Right, what do they got here? So women's, let's be real, we all know Gymshark do amazing leggings for women. It's a known fact, isn't it? One of my favorites is definitely this. I wear a lot of teal. I think it's teal, isn't it? Teal. Yes. It's not quite green, not quite blue. You're just styling. I've got these joggers here. Love them. This is the t-shirt I'm wearing right now. I've got it in black, but it comes in teal. I've got it in teal as well. Obviously, I'm one of the very, very lucky people who gets given this stuff, but I wear it all the time because I genuinely love it. You know, it hugs the shoulders, but it doesn't hug everything. There's certain aspects of my body I'm not as confident with, and I'll be honest, this is ideal for me. It is like an old school bodybuilding workout t-shirt. For me, this says I'm here to do some fucking work, throw heavy shit around. And it comes in black, what I'm wearing right now. Do I look better than him in it? You be the judge. Who's judging? In fact, forget judging. Let's not judge each other. I've always said that. So don't forget, Thursday, the 18th of November is Black Friday, up to 70% off on selected items, but generally, you're going to get good deals if you go on the website that day. Please, if you are going to do it, make sure they know your boy sent you by clicking on my link in the description below. But now on with the video. So a lot of UFC fights seem to take place on Twitter rather than the Octagon these days, and I'm sort of here for it, but in the words of Anthony Joshua, let's talk more action. So I think a lot of this started with Ferguson having a pop at Khabib because Khabib was pushing for his boy to get the title shot. Ferguson says, "You fat fuck, last time I saw you, you ran to a different country like a little bitch to avoid our fight." Khabib then claps back. He says, "You've never won a round in the UFC for the last 3 years. Some rounds were even 10-8. I don't know why, but that was... Since 2015, you won only one fighter from top 15. Tony, it's a clear picture here. I'm not going to go low and personal. It's just facts." I've heard Khabib's English, and to me that is like Khabib, but a lot of people think Khabib's Twitter is run by his boy, what's his name? That fucking manager. Then it took on another turn when Justin Gaethje then responds to Khabib. "I do not believe it's Khabib saying this stuff. He got someone else running that shit." Or something. Detective Inspector Gaethje there with the theory that this might not be Khabib. So Khabib said, "In the last 8 fights, you got finished 3 times, Justin. You had an opportunity to become champion, but you fell asleep." Gosh, that. I mean, it was against you, mate. You are like the GOAT at lightweight. So, yeah, he lost. There's no shame in that. And to now rub it in his face. I get you're wanting to push your boy forward, but you retired as the greatest of all time, and everyone wished you well. But now by coming back into the sport and sticking your nose in and saying, this is what should happen, that's what should happen, and sort of rubbing people's faces in the fact that you beat them, it doesn't come off as the classy champion that we sort of wanted to remember him by. Islam is on a 9-win streak, 3-fight 2021, all finishes. Just shut up and admit Islam deserves the title shot, not you. Then Gaethje cleverly sort of quote tweets Khabib's tweet about Tony Ferguson having one fighter in the top 15 as a win. And Gaethje said, "Your boy only has 2 and you want him to fight for a belt? My 3 losses are former champ, interim champ and current champ. Islam beat number 14 and a late replacement number 6. Stay humble, champ. Get in line." Good points. You know, ultimately Gaethje may have lost a few more fights, but he's fought way better fighters than Islam. I might be off with this, but why don't they just let Charles Oliveira and Dustin Poirier fight, make a champ, have Islam and Gaethje fight for the #1 contender spot? It will be fantastic. McGregor's also been tweeting. He said, "It's George Masvidal's birthday, but he a bitch for bottling a fight against Leon. Fuck your injury. You signed to fight, you fight. Strip the belt from him that he never even won. Ho in a house coat. The fuck was that about as well? Last season's Versace housecoat. Haha. What the fuck? It's very like Mean Girls, that tweet, isn't it? Like, do grown men care about what season you got your dressing gown from? Weird, isn't it? It's just weird. McGregor was then very aware that Max Holloway was the talk of the town, with him being in a fight with Yair Rodriguez. Turns his Twitter attention to him because he is being talked about as the best boxer in the UFC, and with the ego McGregor has, he ain't having that. So he says, hey Twitter, the fighter that has absorbed the most head strikes in the UFC history competes tonight. Max Holloway. Can't wait to watch. It's a good line, to be fair. It is. I mean, the idea of boxing is hit and don't get hit, and he is saying like most shots absorbed is not the best boxer, guys. I'm sorry. Max Holloway then tweets about a quote from Conor McGregor that came out before he fought Poirier last time, when he was coming out with that rubbish about, I only count knockouts, so I'm 19-1. And Holloway was like, well, that makes me undefeated then. I like it. I like it. He's using his own words against him. So Usman chimes in on one of McGregor's tweets about the Masvidal not fighting while injured, and he said, you should be quiet. I like that, by the way. What an opening line from Usman. Like, because this guy's the baddest motherfucker in the world right now. And just to say, be quiet, it's like so much more dismissive than like a really aggressive start to a sentence. You cry about injuries more than anyone after you get your ass whipped. Foot, ankle, shin. What else am I missing? And there is a little bit of truth in the fact that McGregor often walks away, or tries to, no pun intended, with an excuse. You know what I mean? He left the octagon against Dustin Poirier, the last two fights, one on crutches and one on a stretcher. Usman, there's some truth in that. And McGregor did reply, to be fair, you're missing something, bro. For sure. Don't quite know what, though. Originality, maybe? I don't know. Something. It's like nobody cares. I mean, that tweet is that of someone who's just clutching at straws. McGregor's got nothing. Usman's been flawless. He's a great champion, pound for pound king. I feel like McGregor's like, yeah, well, what do I say? No one cares about you. It's like, no one cares about you, but you're winning every single fight. Like, I'd rather be the guy who's cared about less, who's basically leaving a pound for pound legacy behind, than the guy on Twitter, which is what McGregor is becoming at this point. Like, it's, I don't know. And also, like, you know, back in the day when McGregor was the guy, like, we'd sort of be able to suspend belief enough that he could compete with top guys at welterweight. You know, he fought Nate Diaz at welterweight. He beat Cowboy at welterweight. Maybe he could be a force at welterweight. Now I'm like, no chance. No fucking chance. You struggled like fuck against Nate Diaz at welterweight. Let's be real here. Nate Diaz doesn't beat any good welterweight. We've just had the 5th anniversary of the Eddie Alvarez win from Conor McGregor when he became the double champ. Since then, he's won one fight in 5 years. And that was against Cowboy Cerrone, who in that time has lost about 9 or 10 fights. McGregor has done nothing of note in fighting, in terms of winning fights, in 5 years. Because that Cowboy fight is nothing to brag about. I get it, he wants to remain relevant, but you can't even build a fight with these welterweights because you're never going to fight them. And if you are, you'll be crushed in immediately. If you're managing McGregor's career, if you're going to try and hype a fight up and build something for coming back, do it against someone who actually makes sense, who you can actually have a chance against. Because this is a waste of fucking time, in my opinion. Like, so here we have a video Conor McGregor tweeted out of him pacing back and forth opposite Max Holloway. Although Max Holloway is in a UFC octagon about to have a real fight and McGregor's in his bedroom. I'm wondering what on earth the real diehard McGregor fans that are still there for him are watching thinking. That to me looks like a guy who's sorely missing the fight game and the good old days and wants to be involved and wants to be talked about. But he can't get near an octagon, so he's got to sort of make videos as if he's sort of imagining it. He's slagging Max Holloway off, but Max Holloway is out here really fighting these fights. And the last 5 years of Max Holloway's career have been far superior than anything McGregor's done. So let's have it right. Look, maybe he's had a bit of that proper 12, got a little bit drunk, and for a second he thought he was in the cage. In other news, Jorge Masvidal versus Leon Edwards is off. It's a shame. That was the final fight in order to get Leon Edwards a title shot. He seems to be chilling, saying, look, I'm going to wait for my title shot now. I'm not gutted the fight's off. To be honest, because I don't know, my hype level wasn't quite there for it. You know, they've both lost to Usman before, and it felt like other fights would have been better for them both. You've got Covington versus Masvidal. Old roommates, old best friends, hate each other. They would make a great fight. And then you've got Chimaev, who was supposed to fight Edwards before, came out of his last fight, didn't have a scratch on him, currently being craved by fans to see how he will do against a top 5 opponent, if not Usman, this would have been great. We'll put him in there. If he wipes the floor with Edwards, then we know he's ready for a fucking title shot. It is a dangerous fight for Edwards, and which makes sense as to why Edwards would just go, you know what, I'm good, I'm going to wait for the title fight. The problem is an Edwards versus Usman title fight something people are really craving? You know, in that last round against Nate Diaz, Edwards got rocked. Now, anyone can be rocked, I get it, but if Nate Diaz can rock you, Usman can probably send you into space. That's something that Edwards is going to have to be very fucking careful of. His defense in that fight, if that happens next, is going to have to be perfect. I wanted the Chimaev-Edwards fight. That's the one I wanted personally. I think a lot of people did, but it's gone quiet. Rose Namajunas successfully defended her title against Zhang. Zhang came in looking much better, on her toes, not flat-footed like she got caught the last time, you know, mixed up the wrestling well, and you could argue, some would say, maybe she should have had the decision. It was a close fight. Rose, to me, didn't look her best, but, you know, she certainly looked fucking good. With her, it's always the mental game. You never quite know which version of Rose is coming in, and she showed in this one that even when she isn't at her best, she's got enough in the tank to gut it out against one of the best in her weight class. So credit to her for that. She's showing evolution in that sense. I think in that final round, she just edged the fight. It was a dominant round for her, and she wanted it that little bit more. So fair play to Rose. I think we will see them do it again, and I'm interested to see how Zhang progresses, because she is getting trained by Henry Cejudo, and so is John Jones. Henry Cejudo is a weird one because this guy talks a lot. I mean, he's on Mike Tyson's podcast, he's all over the internet, he's always calling people out on Twitter, and yet he was a champ. You know, he had everything in the palm of his hands to keep fighting, to keep making a lot of money. They make more money per fight when they have a title. So he sort of walked away from everything at the peak of his powers after some great performances as well, and just turned into a guy on Twitter. He became very boring on Twitter as well. It's like constantly calling people out and never fighting. It's like, mate, you had the titles. You could have kept fighting. You've retired, and then you do nothing but call people out. I'm not getting this. I'm really not. I don't know if you're genius and you're waiting for a huge payoff from the UFC, which, because you're such a small fighter and the lighter weights aren't as desirable to the UFC, ain't happening, or you're just really dumb. And I find it hard to believe this guy's dumb, because the guy won an Olympic gold medal and 2 titles in the UFC. I just don't understand. And then he's got John Jones collaborating with him in some weird role. Is Cejudo becoming this sort of guru now? What is it? Jones kicked out of his old gym. That can't be good. You know, they've just washed their fucking hands with this guy and been like, you know what it is? We stood by you through all sorts. They've stood by him through all sorts. Do you know what I'm saying? And even now they're like, fuck this. And again, more tweets from Jones going, only a few more months and then I'm back in the UFC. It's like, mate, these are the most valuable years of your whole fucking career. What are you doing? You can chill when you're fucking 40. This is when you need to be racking up fights, racking up money. There was a period of time where John was out of the sport for arrests and drug use and all the other bullshit. And he said, now I'm going to remain consistent. Now I've had a taste of how it is to be on the sidelines and missing the fight game. I'm really going to make the most out of it. Now he's just fucking piss farting around again. It's the most annoying thing. MMA fighters constantly on Twitter saying this, that, and the other, and then do nothing in the cage. That's why I'm a huge Usman fan. That is what you should be doing. He is a prime example of making the most out of your career. You know, one tweet every now and then. If you've got more tweets than punches landed in the last few years as a fighter, you've got a problem. You are a bad businessman. It's time John Jones either gets up and has a fucking heavyweight fight or just shuts the fuck up. Because fighters don't seem to realize when you're constantly talking shit on the internet and never backing it up, fans disengage. We just treat you like, oh yeah, whatever. It's like that mate down the pub, you know what I mean? He's beating everybody up and no one was there to say it. You guys are MMA fighters, so you've got all the credibility and you're actually hurting it. The reason McGregor had his rocket to the moon moment was because he was saying it all and he was backing it up. You gotta have the other bit. Do you understand? Fuck me, I should be a fucking manager. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit that like button. And if you want to look good when you're on the way to the gym and in the gym, although you shouldn't look too good in the gym, that's part of going to the gym, remember? Do pick up your Gymshark clothing using the link in the description below. Don't forget, Black Friday sales, Thursday the 18th of November, up to 70% off. Hopefully you enjoy that. Stay subscribed to True Geordie Extra for more combat sports videos. See you later.